All right, September 3rd, 2019. It's Tuesday. Just finished bombing at the fucking hideaway today. Um, I wanted to make this particular episode right now mostly in the off chance that someone wants to get into comedy and they end up listening to this as like a road into comedy. I'm going to warn you right now, there's times when it's going to fucking suck, like really bad. Like right now, I have no desire to record this podcast, but I feel it to be necessary to like the process of all of this, and that as important as it is to worry about the hold on a second. Okay, as important as it is to discuss the craft and talk about all the fun stuff, I think it's just as important, if not more important, how to deal with these times. Yeah, I was not feeling good about my set tonight. Not even really my set tonight. The past, I don't even know how. I feel like a month, if not more. It feels like I haven't had a good set. Like I work out jokes. I'm like, okay, that seems to be working. That doesn't. But I'm sure comics, when you listen to this, you know what I mean. Where you've gotten to a point now where, generally speaking, you bomb with some level of grace. You have Aaliyah. Hold on. Okay. I feel like at this point, I very much know how to bomb with grace. I think that is saying something that means something. But you're still bombing, and it's still not fucking fun. And this past month, it's not like all of my jokes haven't hit or anything. Things hit, whatever, like I'm figuring my sets out. But I could use a fucking fun set, and I just haven't gotten one in a very long time. But I was pretty down, and I decided I didn't want to be fucking down. And so I listened to comics. If you ever have a bad run of it, fucking, let's see, type in David Goggins Failure. It's under the YouTube channel's under Goggins Clips, and it just says David Goggins on Failure. It's a quick 2 minutes and 43 seconds, and it really will pick you back up. Like, I'm not, by no means am I happy right now about tonight's set or my sets in general recently, but I do feel better. I feel better. And that's what works for me. I mean, if I were to give any advice to a comedian that has been doing it less time than me at this point, it would be find some shit that motivates you, find some shit that makes you feel better every time you watch it or listen to it or do it, because there's going to be times when you do this where you're just like, why the fuck am I even doing it? Like, I suck. Why am I even doing this? So yeah, that's not fun. But on the bright side, I did visually record my set. Jonathan and I were talking about this. I can't remember why. I feel like we were watching Chappelle or watching somebody, and we were talking about the way you look on stage and your body language. That's what it was. We watched Jonathan's set from the Fox. Ray came by and dropped it off. And we were watching how Jonathan moved. And Jonathan actually had never seen him visually do stand-up comedy. And so he was really fucking upset with the way he moved around. So it made me think, and I started to realize, like, I haven't visually watched myself in a very long time. And so I asked Jonathan to film me tonight. And I'm turning off the sound right now while I watch. Like, I just want to see what I look like visually. And I'm actually pretty happy to say, at least tonight, my body language was calm, it was comfortable, it wasn't fidgety. Granted, I was thinking about it. Like when I told Jonathan to film, I was actively thinking about my body language and how to make sure that I was being presented as calm. And I kind of look like a politician. It's weird. Like I'm doing the those hand movements that politicians do. Hold up a second. All right, what the fuck is this? Politician. Yeah. I'm moving like like there does seem to be poise there. That's a really good word to describe it. I seem to be pretty poised, at least when I'm aware of what I look like on stage. And one of the things I was thinking about before doing this set, like in my head, I was thinking, don't try to be funny. That's something I'm working on. Don't try to be funny. Just say just be you. And I don't think, I mean, if this podcast is a testament to it, I don't think I'm a naturally funny person. I actually think I'm a pretty, not serious, but I don't know. I'm not like quippy and jokey all the time. And so, if I'm proud of something of this, that's the other thing. If whatever people might be listening that want to get into comedy, if anytime you do a set, try to record yourself. Try to figure out, like, if you're in a fucking slump, I would suggest try to find one or two good things you did. Like, there's plenty in that set I can critique right now, which I definitely am going to. But the two good things I had is that I presented myself as poised, and at no point did I get jokey, like I tried to be funny. So those are my two good things about the set. But the rest of it, just fucking low energy. I should have talked to the crowd first. So we had Carlos Patino warm up. Carlos, I'm going to talk about you right now. We had Carlos Patino try to host the Hideaway tonight. Not try, what am I saying? He's hosting it literally as I speak. And by the way, thank you. It gives me a break. It gives me time to do something like this. We had Carlos Patino host the Hideaway, and hosts, and Carlos, this is going to be me critiquing you. So he forgot to explain to the audience that an open mic was happening. And so comics for the future, when you start hosting or whatever, remember you set the tone for the show. Like, I'm not saying, like, as comedians, as individuals, it's all up to us to do our own sets as best as we possibly can. But what makes a good show overall, what makes a good crowd and a good atmosphere is a lot of the host. And so you set the tone for it. First thing is, the reason you want to explain what's going on to the audience is because in their head, generally speaking, an audience member is not at a fucking comedy show every night, every week or whatever. Like, I think that as comedians, we need to remember that for them, this isn't normal. This isn't an experience that they normally have. They're not used to the etiquette. And so, as the host, you need to explain to them what's going on. Like, set the expectation. And you want to set the bar reasonably. You don't want to set the bar too low, and you don't want to set the bar too high. And so the reason I say reasonably is because right now, when the audience goes into a comedy show, no matter what type of comedy show it is, they're picturing Netflix. They're picturing Chappelle and Rogan and Kevin Hart. Speaking of which, I really hope he's okay from his car accident, but that's a whole other thing. So, like, they're picturing professional comedians. They don't know what an open mic is. They don't understand that that's where comedians work out material. And I have this assumption because I ask the audience, like, what they think, and a lot of the times they start comparing. They're like, well, he wasn't, like, fluffy at all. And it's like, it's not how it works. So what you need to do is you need to present the audience with the bar of the show, the vibe and how they should be treating it. And every single show is different, but as a general rule, what I like to say is, one, to the comics, don't attack the audience. If your jokes don't go well, if you're bombing, don't be an asshole. And two, to the audience, you want to say to them, if you heckle, you're fair game. I think that that's a really good way to start a show, because the audience, as the host, you're clearly on the audience's side by telling the comics, don't be assholes, basically. You've established that. We have the bar set. Everybody knows you're set on the microphone. And then for the audience, they get a fair warning. So what it does is it gives the comics a little bit of cushion. It gives them an easier time when they get on stage, especially if they're getting fucked with. Like, if you have a heckler and someone's yelling out and you're dealing with new comics, including myself, sometimes you don't know how to handle it. You don't know, and you end up looking like the asshole when the audience, again, doesn't realize what it feels like up there and how your adrenaline's pumping. So as the host, you want to start off with explaining to the audience the bar of the room, and that is, this is experimenting, but this also should be taken seriously. And then the other thing is when talking to the audience. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. Generally speaking, you want to start with crowd work. Like, you're warming them up. They don't know. They have no idea what your jokes are. They're not ready for whatever's about to happen. So you want to start with crowd work. You want to talk to them, and you want to gauge. This does a couple of things. Ask them some questions that involve your comedy. So if I know I can talk about fucking childhood or marriage or whatever, talk to them about that a little bit. You already have jokes in your back pocket, and you can really easily segue into something if your crowd work isn't working out well. But what it's going to do is it's going to engage the audience. The people that are, when you're talking to somebody, and by the way, if you're the host, I don't give a shit what your persona is. I don't care if you're fucking, I don't know, an insult comic or whatever the fuck you are. I don't care if you try to be like Anthony Jeselnik. You're the fucking host, and you need to make the audience comfortable, and you need to make them want to be there. If you go up there and you set the tone, like, I'm just going to use Anthony Jeselnik. If you set the tone like Anthony Jeselnik, you're fucking not only yourself, because you're starting the show off like that, but you're fucking everybody, every other comic on the list. You've made it now so the audience fucking hates all of them. They don't understand that everybody has their own styles. I believe, this is my philosophy. If you disagree with me, please email the Buddy System Co. But my philosophy is, if you're the host, act like a fucking host and make them comfortable. So when you do crowd work with them, you're not insulting them. Don't get me wrong, take jabs, whatever, depending on the person and how they're going about things. These aren't hard and fast rules, but generally speaking, you don't want to be an asshole off the top. So it engages the audience, and so whoever you're talking with is engaged, and then the people who are around are they have to engage now. You're not just blindly telling jokes. They can't treat you like white noise. They have to engage with you. And in doing that, you get them paying attention. Then you can slide in your material based off of the things you were talking to them about, and it should lead into a smoother show, a smoother transition. And it sets a high bar for yourself, which is good, and it also sets a high bar for whoever's going to be up first. And that's about it, I'd say. Ran the line a little bit, but trying to take a shitty situation and turn it into a positive.